Hi and welcome to my channel. Welcome back. My name is Bryndis and in today's video we are doing the Don't You Forget About Me Booktube tag. So this tag was created by Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl, who was inspired by a video by Brian at Bookist Texan. I was tagged by Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club. So thank you so much for tagging me, Ellen. I look forward to doing this tag for sure. There are 4 prompts, but for each prompt you are allowed to choose as many books as you like. So let's start the tag. So prompt number 1 is clean slates. Books you've read that you don't remember anything about. So this was not necessarily very difficult for me to think about because I have such a horrible memory. It's a problem for me actually. And so even though I have a reading journal and I log into like Goodreads and whatever, I have read a lot of books that I just like, what? I have no idea. So I'm going to talk about two books here for this video. And the first one is The Odyssey. I read this book in college. I mean, I'm getting up there in years, so college is like 25 years ago. But still, I remember that we read this book. I did an English language and literature degree. I remember reading this, but I remember nothing. And I'm realizing that I don't remember anything from the Odyssey because I've been reading a lot of Greek retellings lately. And like I'm reading Circe now, and there are like Penelope, I've been reading these retellings by different authors, and I have no idea. I have no idea. So I'm not gonna read this, I think, in the nearest future. I was considering putting it on my TBR for May and just kind of have it be like an audiobook that I can just kind of listen to when I feel like it throughout, the next several months. I don't feel like it, so I'm not gonna do that. Not at this moment, at least. But yeah, so I have no idea. Another book that I realized that I apparently read 3 years ago, I gave it 3 stars, and I have no idea no recollection of reading it, and I actually put it on my May TBR for my like horror, Scaredy Cat Reads Horror project. Turn off the screw. Yeah, so I read this in 2021. Gave it 3 stars on Goodreads and in my reading journal. I'm like, oh, no, I did. Are you sure? Because I have absolutely no recollection. Prompt number 2 is Genie Lamp. Books you've read that you wish you could forget. I love that prompt. But unfortunately, maybe because I don't remember, but I cannot think of any books that I've ever read that I wish I hadn't read. If I'm reading a book that is just, I will DNF it, like without any hesitation. So yeah, I have no books that I regret reading. But I decided to do a twist on this prompt, which I hope is okay. But instead of thinking about like books I wish I forget, I'm gonna think about books I wish I would forget so that I could actually experiencing reading them for the first time because they were so good. And the experience of reading them that first time was just so good. And I have like 3 actually kind of collections of books really, or like author that I wish I could read for the first time again. And the first one is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Now, I did not read the books until after like years and years after I had actually saw the movies. And then I listened to the audiobook narrated by Andy Serkis, and I was like, oh! I remember just how much, and since then it's been my all-time favorite. I actually first listened to the audiobook narrated by, if I can remember to put it on the screen, I will, the name, because that was also fantastic. But then I reread them listening to Andy Serkis, and that was even more fantastic. But I would love to read these books for the first time and just experience all the characters, all the adventures, all the things that happen for the first time. Oh, I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that. But I don't think I will ever forget these books. Another author that I wish I could read again for the first time would be Jane Austen. So I just have her Sense and Sensibility here, but all of her 6 novels at least. I'm not as much of a fan of the shorter ones or the unfinished ones, but her 6 novels are all excellent in my opinion. Wish I could read about Eleanor's experiences in here. I wish I could read about Lizzie and all of that in Pride and Prejudice, and Catherine in the Abbey, in Northanger Abbey, when she's like, the ghost, and I wish. And then the last author I wish also I could read again for the first time would be Agatha Christie, because it was the best year of my life, the year where I read her entire collection of books and novels and short stories. I wish I could do that again, because the joy of reading about Poirot and Miss Marple and the other shorter series or the standalones, and just it was such a fun year in my life. Oh, I wish I could do it again. Prompt number 3 is Forgotten Gems, books you think need more love. So here I don't think that I have in any way a unique taste in books. So the books that I read are fairly loved. And I can't really remember any books that I feel like I wish I just read very broadly what other people also mostly like. I guess maybe there is one author that I have not heard anyone talk about on Booktube. He writes thrillers. His name is Stuart McBride. He's a Scottish author, I think, but at least his novels or his books take place in Scotland. They're very gritty, very violent, and just like in your face for sure. But especially his Logan McRae, sorry, I have it here. What's his name? Logan McRae series. So Logan McRae is, I think he's a sergeant in the investigating homicides and murders and stuff like that. And there are 10 or 12 books in the series with him where he's the main character. I love it. It's such a great series. I've also read a few other of his books, of Stuart McBride's books, that have other characters, and they're also, it's very violent and very in your face violent for sure, horrible language and all those things, but it's such a good thriller. It's so suspenseful and you're just on the biting your nails type of books. So I would definitely recommend those, and I think those are kind of the only books. I don't know if they're necessarily considered gems. Maybe rough diamonds or something, I don't know, but they are, if you like thrillers and like this kind of gritty type of very kind of violent type of realistic, I suppose, thrillers, then those are definitely ones that you should check out. And then there's prompt number 4, which is forget-me-nots, books you will always remember. Obviously, I'm gonna just like get back to the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I don't think I will ever forget these books. They have just found their way into my soul, and like I like to read them at least every other year, if not every year. I watch the movies, the extended versions of them on DVD or Blu-ray every year or every other year. I love that new Ring of Power series on Prime, and that world is just so fascinating to me. So those are definitely books I will never forget. Other books that I will never forget are books that I read as a teenager and young adult. Well, I read them until my like late 30s, really, because and they were like comfort reads to me. And that would be the Legend of the Ice People series. So these are 47 books, and I loved them, but I don't think they would be considered any type of, quality literature. But I don't want to dismiss that. It's still very enjoyable and just fantastic world building on the part of the author, Margit Sandemo. And yeah, it's that. I think it also because I read the series during kind of my formative years. It's a fantastic mixture of fantasy, like it's the original romantasy, because there is a lot of fantasy in there. It takes place in the real world, so it's historical fantasy. It takes place in real world, mostly in Norway, but also in Denmark and Sweden. And it follows it's a family saga, so it follows them from the kind of the main, the first kind of the patriarch, and then from the 16th century up to the 20th century. And so there's a fantasy, there is a curse, there are witches and warlocks and all sorts of supernatural things. And as they get later into the story, we also get like demons and Lucifer and angels, and like it's excellent type of a fantasy plot. But there's also a lot of romance and stuff like that. And even though there's obviously violence, but it isn't like, you don't really notice it so much. But it is actually, I would recommend. I mean, it's that I don't know if I would recommend it, because it's, I think, probably a child of its age, like it's from the 80s. So, but it impacted me very much as a reader and as a fantasy lover. So I think that I will never, ever, ever forget those books. So that's that, my answers to the tag. I hope you enjoyed. I've been thinking about who I want. I decided I want to tag people, not just kind of do the lazy thing and tag everybody. Although everybody, if you're watching this video and you haven't been tagged, but you would like to do it, then obviously consider yourself tagged. I think that, I mean, that's what I do. If I see an interesting tag, I just sometimes do them whether I'm tagged or not. That's just kind of extra fun. But I've decided that I'm going to tag 2 people. One of them is Marcella at Marcella and Her Books. And the other one is Justin at Read More Books. So I will link their channels below so that you can go check them out. I really enjoy those, watching those channels for sure. And it's very interesting to me, because I feel that we kind of have very different reading tastes. But I don't care. I still like those channels, because it's not necessarily about the books exactly that you're talking about. It's kind of how you're talking about them and stuff like that, at least for me. So anyway, I hope that you will want to do do the tag for sure. And again, anyone else who wants to do the tag, consider yourself tagged. Thank you again, Ellen, for tagging me, and I really enjoyed doing this tag. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!